The Lake of Fire is a place mentioned many times within the Trinity Crusade lore. It can be used as a weapon, a place to transform into a more powerful servant of the court of the seven-headed serpent, or as a place you can experience your eternal second death. So not a great time. So it begs the question, what real-world mythology does it draw on? So, welcome back to the trenches and let's begin. Within Hell, quite a few times there is a mention of a place called the Lake of Fire. Basically, if you don't have your name in the Book of Life, you're going to get put into the Lake of Fire for everlasting punishment. Within Trinity Crusade, this place is within Hell. Another name for this fate is a second death. I'll touch on more of that later. It's mentioned within the heretic Crusade lore. These people have sacrificed themselves to the glory of Hell. You start this path near the inverted pyramids dedicated to the greater of the archdevils. You find an altar, do a bit of self-carving, working unholy runes into your flesh. And you do this till your last breath. The more wounds, the more the sacrifice is seen as being pleasing. And when they do this, they then go to their doom in the Lake of Fire, where some are reborn as choristas after 9 days, or choristas. They go to the Lake of Fire due to the manner of their ending. Perhaps since the court of the seven-headed serpent draws on goetic magic, powered by suffering, and the lake is a place of that. That's why it can have these magical effects, and why 9 days, one source I found says it is believed to be the day when the soul is judged for its earthly actions. Prayers and memorial services are held on this day, offering spiritual support to the soul, so the soul will have been damned within the Lake of Fire at this point. This seems an unholy inversion of that tradition, along with the manner of the death, and that has power, as it disrupts the plans of the Creator. After that period of time is up, they pick up their own heads, which sing hymns that weaken the resolve of the faithful. The Lake of Fire is also drawn on by sorcerers of the court of the seven-headed serpent, depending on their allegiance. Each of these sorcerers can call on goetic magic, which, as I mentioned, is powered by pain and suffering. One spell allows the sorcerers to open a portal to the Lake of Fire and draw forth a great screaming ball of infernal lava mixed with damned souls. And a weapon is also mentioned in relation to the Lake of Fire. The incendiary grenade also has ties to this ring of fire. Incendiary grenades can set the target alight with sulfur, phosphorus or flammable gas captured from the Lake of Fire. It is also mentioned with the Yoke Fiend's lore. These creatures torment the leagues-long columns of the still living, damned as they march into the Lake of Fire, whipping them incessantly with scourges fashioned from the nerve bundles of still conscious victims. This colossal human suffering, in turn, powers the goetic magic of the archdevils and their human, or morsel you could say, servants, as it disturbs God's plan for the universe. The last reference I have found to them is within the anointed heavy intrinsic lore. After making great contributions to the archdevils, the anointed ones are ordained by their masters in hell to make pilgrimage to the Lake of Fire. There on its stinking, oil-choked shores, they meditate and chant, committing sickening rites at the burned temples that litter its shores. The fires of the lake horribly burn these pilgrims, but they take no notice as they revel in the visions of grandeur bestowed by the twisting black fires. Yet there are some who push further on, to the very gate itself and beyond. Their very flesh ignites, never to recover, but those with the blackest souls can enter Inferno itself. Among those the anointed are especially revered amongst the legions. They are the paragons of unhinged brutality, men and women of colossal vigour and unyielding devotion, having tread the accursed path to the shores of the lake of eternal flame, where the damned wither and contort in ceaseless torment. The anointed emerge forever scarred by the embrace of abyssal fires. The blackened and burnt flesh of the anointed will never heal, but in exchange they are granted the right to wear heavy Gehenna armoured suits, and they gain strength to wield weapons that a normal man could barely lift. It is said that glancing into their eyes, one can see the reflection of the very flames of hell, forever etched in their vision. Their heavy armour and weaponry, forged in the iron pits, are gifted to them by their wicked masters, and they are granted unholy strength in order to wield them. Flamethrowers, filled with pitch from the Lake of Fire, are particularly good. and the anointed ones take great delight in burning their foes with its supernatural fires. So you can see how it's being used in several weapons, and also you can see how the lake of fire seems to have different effects on different people. It seems to depend on who you are and how much you embrace the court of the seven-headed serpent, and are thus rewarded for that embrace, bringing you back as with the chorister. Have you thought about this idea, how when the wretches are thrown in there, they will act as some sort of power source? It is a way, I think, to stoke its power, like putting wood on a dying fire. And the anointed, who through their actions have a soul so black that the lake of fire damns them and gives them power due to how it cannot contain them, but they embrace its effects and are reborn in the eyes of the court of the seven-headed serpent. We touched on the idea of being cast into the lake of fire as one of the damned. It is classed as a second death according to Christianity.com, that someone who is not aligned with this creator can experience this second death. Those will only get the first earthly death, whilst the unsaved person will experience two deaths, the first at the end of this life and the second after the resurrection. The second death has been interpreted as endless torment by many. Lactantius says, we term that punishment the second death, which is itself also perpetual, as is immortality. We thus define the second death. Death is the suffering of eternal pain, or thus death is the condemnation of souls for their deserts to eternal punishments. Now the mention of the lake of fire that might have led to it being in hell are covered by the book of Revelation. This is also termed the book of the Apocalypse, which tells you what it's about. It's mentioned 5 times. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. I assume the beast refers to the morning star, the king of hell, and the leader of the court of the seven-headed serpent. This is confirmed in the next mento. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night for ever and ever. Then death and Hades were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, and anyone not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire, confirming what we covered earlier. It would seem to be a link there with the trench law. Then as for the cowardly, the faithless, the detestable, as for murderers, the immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars, their portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulphur, which is the second death. So you can see what could damn you there, and maybe if we think of each of them, they could tie into the sins each devil represents. So we have covered the law here. Let me know what you think. Do you feel a lot of the religious aspects cover the law, as it's mentioned in the Trench Crusade? Do you think it was there in hell before the devil was sent there? Comment down below. And if you like this video on the Trench Crusade, then why not try this one? And if you want a whole bunch of videos about the Trench Crusade, try the Trench Crusade playlist, which is on the channel.